Imagine walking into a room to find a brilliant 35-year-old executive staring blankly at a glowing laptop screen at 3 in the morning, unable to remember their own home address. This is not a scene from a psychological thriller. It is the silent reality unfolding in millions of homes right now. What if the very work ethic you pride yourself on is secretly shrinking your brain and systematically destroying your capacity for wealth? We have been sold a dangerous lie by the architects of modern hustle culture. We are told that our worth is directly tied to a nonstop, 7-day-a-week grind, turning our lives into a relentless race against time. But while you believe you are building an empire by burning the candle at both ends, your biology is staging a quiet coup. When the mind is forced to operate at maximum capacity without a designated hard stop, it enters a state of perpetual emergency. Neurological scans of individuals trapped in this endless cycle reveal a chilling truth. Chronic overwork physically alters the prefrontal cortex, the exact seat of your executive function, emotional control, and strategic decision-making. As stress hormones flood the system week after week, the neural pathways begin to degrade, leading to an invisible phenomenon known as cognitive stagnation. You find yourself sitting at your desk for 12 hours, yet your actual, high-level output could have been accomplished in 2. The internal machinery is spinning frantically, but the gears have completely stripped. This creates a deceptive trap where being perpetually busy is mistaken for being genuinely productive. By refusing to pause, you cross an invisible threshold into the law of diminishing returns, where every extra hour invested yields a weaker, more fractured version of your intellect. The modern professional is essentially driving a high-performance vehicle with a completely empty radiator, wondering why the engine is starting to smoke. To break out of this matrix of exhaustion and unlock true, sustainable dominance, we have to look past modern productivity apps and decode a radical, forgotten law established long before the first factory was ever built. To understand how to reverse this cognitive decline, history directs our attention back over 3,000 years into the arid landscapes of the ancient Near East, in an era where human survival depended entirely on continuous, backbreaking labor. A foundational text introduced a concept that defied all economic logic. The ancient records of Genesis outlined a cosmic blueprint where creation itself was not deemed complete until its architect abruptly stopped. This intentional cessation, known as Shabbat, established a radical premise. Rest was not a mere consequence of exhaustion, but the ultimate crown of human activity. For the ancient nomadic tribes who adopted this code, the mandate was absolute and unyielding. As the sun dipped below the horizon on the 6th day, an entire society effectively froze in time. The fires were left unlit, the trading stalls were shuttered, and the fields remained untouched. In a brutal, competitive world where neighboring empires worked their laborers and livestock to the absolute limit, this voluntary weekly shutdown appeared to be a form of societal sabotage. By walking away from their livelihoods for a full 14% of every single week, they were intentionally placing themselves at a massive material disadvantage. Yet, as centuries dissolved into millennia, an extraordinary historical paradox began to take shape. While the aggressive, relentless empires of the ancient world collapsed under the weight of their own internal friction and systemic exhaustion, this small, displaced group exhibited a psychological resilience that bewildered historians. Through eras of geopolitical upheaval, forced migration, and severe generational trauma, their cultural identity and intellectual vitality remained entirely unbroken. The mandatory boundary of a weekly rest day had acted as a protective vault for their collective sanity and familial bonds. By institutionalizing a hard boundary between labor and existence, they did not fall behind. Instead, they unlocked a timeless formula for enduring prosperity and mental fortitude that modern science is only now beginning to comprehend. Modern neuroscience has finally bridged the gap between this ancient cultural ritual and human biology, revealing that the 6-to-1 rhythm is hardwired into our neurochemistry. At the center of this discovery is dopamine, a powerful neurotransmitter often misunderstood as the molecule of pleasure. In reality, dopamine is the chemical engine of anticipation, drive, and relentless focus. Every time you open a work email, solve a complex equation, or chase a professional milestone, Your brain releases a surge of this compound to keep your attention locked onto the objective. However, when you demand this intense neurochemical output 7 days a week without a psychological ceasefire, the brain initiates a protective countermeasure known as receptor downregulation. Essentially, the neural receptors become numb to the constant flood of dopamine. This desensitization marks the exact moment where your passion curdles into procrastination. The projects that once ignited your ambition begin to feel like an insurmountable weight. Your focus splinters into 1,000 distractions, and a profound mental fatigue sets in. You are trying to fire a weapon with a worn-out spring. This is precisely where the ancient concept of the Sabbath reveals its profound biological genius, acting as a mandatory systemic reset. When you completely sever your connection to labor and ambition for a full 24 hours, you trigger a profound dopamine detoxification. By removing the synthetic urgency of deadlines and demands, your overstimulated neural pathways are finally allowed to rest, gradually restoring the sensitivity of your dopamine receptors. Simultaneously, this cessation activates a fascinating neural network known as the default mode network. Unlike the task-positive network, which fires when you are actively grinding through a problem, the default mode network only comes alive when the conscious mind surrenders its goals. This hidden internal matrix is the true birthplace of human genius. It is the reason your most revolutionary insights and creative breakthroughs never occur while you are white-knuckling a spreadsheet, but rather when you are walking under a canopy of trees or resting in quiet contemplation. By stepping away from the wheel for one full day, you allow this subconscious network to synthesize fragmented data, organize chaotic thoughts, and effectively supercharge your cognitive capacity by up to 200% the moment you return to the arena. Translating this profound neurobiological insight into the chaos of the 21st century requires a shift from passive dormancy to a highly structured practice known as active rest. True restoration is not achieved by collapsing onto a couch and mindlessly scrolling through digital algorithms. This passive numbing actually fractures your focus further and leaves your dopamine reserves even more depleted. To build an impenetrable barrier around your mental health, a modern application of this ancient code must be anchored to 3 non-negotiable pillars. The first pillar is complete digital detachment. This requires selecting a fixed 24-hour window each week to deliberately step off the global digital grid. The laptops must be closed, notifications silenced, and professional communication channels entirely severed. If your mind is constantly policing incoming alerts or anticipating work-related messages, your nervous system remains trapped in a low-grade fight-or-flight response. You must give your brain permission to believe that for one full day, the outside world can spin without your intervention. The second pillar focuses on relational reconnection. This dedicated space must be used to reinvest your cognitive energy into unhurried, face-to-face human interactions that possess absolutely no professional or strategic hidden agendas. It is a time for shared meals, deep conversations, and shared laughter with family and close companions, completely free from the ticking clock of economic utility. This intentional presence recalibrates your emotional center, lowering systemic cortisol and replacing it with oxytocin, the hormone of safety and connection. The third pillar is the pursuit of non-productive joy. You must engage in activities that yield absolutely zero financial return on investment, whether it is wandering through a dense forest, reading historical literature purely for its beauty, sketching, or playing an instrument. The goal is to engage in a craft where the process itself is the reward. This deliberate practice deconstructs the toxic internal belief that your human value is solely determined by your economic productivity. When you first implement these pillars, you will inevitably confront a profound wave of psychological resistance. A restless anxiety will whisper that you are falling behind, wasting precious time, and abandoning your ambitions. It is crucial to recognize this internal static for what it truly is, a symptom of a deeply conditioned mind. Overcoming this initial discomfort is the ultimate act of strategic defiance, transforming rest from a sign of weakness into the highest caliber of professional warfare. Ultimately, the pursuit of sustainable mastery requires us to abandon the frantic myth of the perpetual machine. True achievement is not found in running until your engine fractures, but in mastering the precise rhythm of exertion and release. Think of your life's ambition as an archer aiming at a distant, elusive target. The individual who simply pushes the arrow forward with brute force will watch it drop uselessly to the earth. To send that arrow piercing through the horizon with maximum velocity, you must deliberately pull back. That moment of tension, that structured step backward, is not a waste of time. It is the gathering of potential energy required to strike the mark. Your modern Sabbath is that essential, powerful pullback phase. By honoring this timeless 6-to-1 architecture, you stop fighting against your own biology and begin to weaponize it. This ancient code is your ultimate competitive edge in a hyper-accelerated world. While the rest of society stumbles into Monday morning depleted, overstimulated, and relying on synthetic stimulants just to survive the day, you will step back onto the battlefield with an unfair advantage. A pristine neural landscape, a completely calibrated dopamine system, and an unshakable clarity of purpose. The historical data is clear, and the neurobiological evidence is absolute. You were never designed to be a machine of constant consumption and output. You were designed to be a creator who moves in harmony with a deeper, systemic rhythm. Commit today to a 3-week experiment. Choose your day, silence the digital noise, reclaim your human connections, and permit your mind to fully reset. Step back from the wheel, watch your creative limits expand, and discover the profound power of knowing when to stop.